Hello, everyone. Today we are joined for another very, very, very special event where we will have an AMA for Yiying Lu. So get your best questions ready because the creator of the fail whale, the creator of the dumpling and bubble tea, and a few other ones, emojis on Twitter, is here to discuss the very special drop that she did, both for charity and for us, the whale community. A whale of a time, and I'm sure that we're also going to have a whale of a time with this AMA.
Thank you, Gian. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you so much for having me. I hope we will definitely have a whale of a time.
Definitely. I mean, everyone, you guys were presented last time on the whale anniversary, and the community is already excited to have you here.
Yay! I am so glad. I have my new microphone. I was just so excited to use this new microphone to transmit my voice.
This is it's turning out to be yeah. What's it called when it's about the microphone? How do you call those videos
Oh,
about the voice, the sound?
well, I thoroughly enjoyed the countdown music you were playing.
ASMR,
Yeah,
ASMR. This
it,
is
it,
an
it,
ASMR.
I
Yes.
love it. It's so good. It really sets me in a mood. I feel like I am one of the whales and I'm diving into the open sea. No pun intended. But really, it feels like I'm sort of diving into another channel, which is in this case it is a channel. And thank you for all the listeners here listening in to our conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I saw that you have a presentation for us. Do you want to go through that first?
Yeah, sure. I'll be very happy to. In the meantime, we would love to have as many audiences come in as possible. But I'll be very happy to share my presentation about the Whale of a Time, which is this special job that I created to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of Whale. And it is also very special to me because I think I am born to do this. Like, I'm not even joking. I feel like I'm born to do this, Gian. Like, this is something you probably already know. I feel it is a very special opportunity for me to share my story with the community. And so I prepared a little presentation here, and I'm going to share my window so that you can tell me if you can see the window. Can you see?
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. There we go.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, so my story with the whale community was even started by this whale community was born. It's really kind of like the whale community in the cyberspace. I created this piece of artwork, which eventually became the Twitter fail whale, which a lot of Twitter users in the early days might know. Every single time when Twitter went down, people will see this illustration pop up on their screen or on their phone. And I created this illustration probably back in 2006 or 7. And the original name of this piece is called Lifting a Dreamer because the actual whale in the real world doesn't fly, right? And it was actually initially designed as a birthday e-card for my friends in UK and also in China because I was born and raised in China and I was educated in Australia, New South Wales, in Sydney, and also I did an exchange study in London back in 2006. So initially this illustration was done on my way back to Australia and I wanted to go celebrate people's birthday or anniversary in person, but you couldn't be there, overseas when you're in a different continent. So the original ethos of this illustration is my wish for you is so big, whether it's your birthday or your anniversary, but I couldn't make it in person. I'm sending this digital big wish as a whale across the ocean for you. And I have these little birds to carry my biggest wish to you. And little do I know that there was this teeny tiny little startup in San Francisco, which we know now as Twitter. And it just so happened that Twitter's logo was using these birds, and their creative director, Biz Stone, found my illustration online and licensed it. And then the next thing you know is it became a internet phenomenon. And so you have sculptures. And street art and Legos. This is actually a real Lego spaceship design.
This is a Lego! Wow!
And then you see like Singapore government was also applying the artwork as their government transportation ads, and similarly in San Francisco. And then you have in Brazil, Gian, that's from your hometown.
Oh, wow, it's such a good cake as well. I'm proud.
It is a great cake. Brazilians makes really good cake. I gotta come over just to have the cake.
For sure,
it's pretty amazing. This is like global community just celebrating this illustration, celebrating the whale, and celebrating failure, which is really a very optimistic way of looking at technology sort of overcapacity issue, because it was supposed to be a pretty frustrating time. But I love the fact that the illustration is almost inviting the community from around the world to be creative and express themselves through all kinds of different mediums. In this case, these are like Halloween hats that was just done via the community, and they would email me. The guy on the far right is an engineer from Adobe, and then on the top left is a Japanese designer who lives in Vancouver at the time in Canada. Yeah, it was just really amazing. And then this is Critter, a user from Florida, and he also tattooed the artwork on the leg, and then I think somehow made it into the news of CNN. So it was quite amazing how the whale art connected me with literally the whale community around the world. And then I also felt extremely grateful that I did this piece of artwork for Mr. Conan O'Brien. So I want to share a little bit about, despite all these amazing things that happened, what's really interesting, this piece is very special to me. And I very rarely share this story, because usually people see if you sort of make your way as an artist and you have all these amazing stories, people don't really talk about their struggle. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my struggle, because before I do this piece, I was living in Sydney, Australia, as you know. And when this piece became popular, at the time I was still living in Australia, and I was still just coming out of school. And even though there's also a lot of love from the internet, but in the meantime, there's also a lot of unauthorized commercial usage. This is before NFT was available. So I think as a visual creator, or just creator in general, whether you're a musician or you are a writer or you are a visual designer or visual artists, we all know that we would go through different experiences, whether your work is being recognized or sometimes there's different experiences. In this case, my experience was I had a lot of support from the community, but also I was experiencing, the work will be commercially used without authorization. And at the time, I was just coming out of school, and everything, I think, in the commercial world is very new. So I was actually very worried because my work is so iconic. And so I was very worried that if I keep on creating any new work, some people are going to copy it, because that actually happened. So I would go to, Etsy store. Sometimes people would actually email me and say, hey, I found this store is selling your whale art as jewelries, or they're selling your whale art as pillows.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I would actually even when I was in Australia, I would go to bookshops and I would see some stationery was using my artwork without my permission. And so that was the time that
You physically found it?
Yeah, I physically found it. I would even found some of the stores would be using some of the art as logos without, letting me know. And so it was really, really difficult because, and this is also something that we don't usually talk about, because it was relatively new in terms of the digital right, and also social media just came about. And so it took me a while to really kind of getting adjusted with all these situations. For a longest time, I was taking a lot of time just to, getting people's email and then write to the platform and say, oh, this is not being used properly. I never authorized this. And I asked myself, what I enjoyed doing was creating. Why am I sitting here try to fight for all those unauthorized usage? It really was energy draining. And also there was increased cases that's happening on the internet. And so for the longest time, I feel like maybe I should just stop creating. So, because my work is very simple. And if I stop creating, then nobody's gonna exploit the artwork and there will be no pain. It's like if I don't do any new work, then people are not gonna take it without, disregard my feeling as an artist, and there will be no pain. So for 6 months, I wasn't able to do any more creative work because I just had this creative blockage. What's the point of keep on creating if people aren't just going to take your work and completely disregard your feeling as a creator, right? They just commercialize your work without thinking about how you're going to be feeling about it. So it took me almost 6 months. I was watching a lot of comedy. That's the only thing that can make me feel better. I was watching a lot of comedy just to feel better. I wasn't able to do any creative work. And I was just watching lots of different comedies, including some of the most celebrated comedians on YouTube. And then there's one day I came across this tall and very pale Irish American comedian. His name is Conan O'Brien, and it was his last episode on his previous network he was working at. And he was also experiencing similar situation where, he was working in this network for more than, almost 2 decades, but he needed to leave. And it was a relatively unjustified position he was in. And so it was literally his last episode when he needed to say goodbye to all his audiences. And I was very curious what he is going to say to people, because he is in a quite public position and he's also experiencing a lot of injustice. So what he said really was extremely helpful at the time when I was in my probably one of the lowest time in my creative career. And he said, people, especially young people, never be cynical, because cynicism is not gonna lead you anywhere. Life is not going to be turned out exactly how you want it, but if you're working hard and if you're kind, amazing thing is gonna happen. He's like, believe me, amazing thing is gonna happen. It's just true. And the way he said it, the way he presented was so timely and so powerful. I just realized that I was like staring at the computer and I was crying, because that was the very message I needed to hear at the time. Because I wasn't able to do any creative work because I was living in fear. Because I was having so much fear that people are just gonna take my creative work and completely disregard my feeling based on my previous experience, and thinking that there might be no hope, so I might as well just stop creating. But part of me still wants to create, and I just don't know how. And so when I heard about what he said, we just keep, be kind and work hard, put your work in it, and amazing things gonna happen. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. I don't know this person, but he just made me cry. I think that, You have one of those moments in your life. You're like, I don't know anything about this guy, but he just made me cry. I think there's something in it, right? So I kept work on I just keep on working on new things, and I realized that I can create again. I was able to pick up the creative work again, and I started to create, and so I started to also watch more and more his comedy episode in different channels, and eventually 8 months later, since I watched that initial video, his team reached out just via email and said, "Hey, Yiying, we really love your work, and we would love to actually commission you to do a piece for Conan's new show on TBS." And that was, I believe it's August 2010. So I made this particular piece, according to the team's request, for Conan's new show on TBS. That's why you saw him with the beard. I think right now he shaved off the beard. And I also get the chance to see him in person.
I think so. Oh, is that so?
Yeah. It was quite a special. It was a really special trip because it really showed me that, as any creative, beings, right? We will go through different challenges. And this is also the reason why that I think that NFT could be so helpful to artists, because I think back then we don't have that technology to prove the authenticity of the original art. So in some way, I was really kind of hoping there will be some sort of technology that's going to make this available, so that artists will be able to have their creative rights protected. But it's also interesting to see that, as you can see, like some of the biggest tech companies started to also implement art and hire artists to work with them to showcase their product in a more engaging way. And so that is something I think, in some way, I think that the Twitter farewell, or the original name is Lifting a Dreamer, was able to contribute to the tech world and allowing people to see, the arrow, to human, like to era is human. Technology is made by human, and it's okay for us to make mistakes. And as long as we could express our feelings through art, right? I think what's special about art is it's a human experience. You can write a bunch of codes, but something like the blue screen of death of the Microsoft blue screen of death, but you can also make it into a whale, so that this is something people could relate to. And it somehow also pioneered the just internet company started to incorporate art into their product. And that's something I think I'm very, very grateful that the work that I did also contribute in a small part to the tech community as a way to allow artists to work closely with technologists. So that's kind of like my journey with the whale. And what's also interesting is there's more whales. So because of the Twitter whale that I created, I was also able to come to Silicon Valley and San Francisco and meet all these amazing people at different events. So there was one event also invited me to design their poster, which is this Yes event. It's called Yes and Yes Yes in the Palm Springs in California. So I also created this Yes whale. This is in 2013. And I met my good friend and mentor, Miku Matsumura, at the event. It was funny that this event was more like an unconference. It doesn't look like a real conference. People will be able to lead different sessions for the attendees, and it's not just business oriented. It's also adding a lot of mindfulness and also teaching a lot of creative workshops. So Miko was teaching everybody yoga class, and he offered a free yoga class for everyone. And so I knew him at the time as my yoga teacher. And little do I know, Miko actually is a very influential crypto investor. And so I've been friends with Miko even before he became a crypto investor. We really kind of became friends because he taught me a lot about, different rituals, especially ideas from the Asian Indian stories, and also like things like Bhagavad Gita and Hanuman, a lot of Eastern Asian traditional stories. Even though I was growing up in Asia, I was not really familiar with it. So he has been my mentor and a teacher and a friend for the longest time. So Miko actually reached out to me about last year when I was working on this new whale. I did this whale for the United Nations Biological Diversity Conservation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was creating a series of artwork on the endangered species, and one of them was a whale shark. So this whale shark was created on the World Whale Shark Day, and I created this whale shark because it just so happened it's the World Whale Shark Day, and I was very much looking forward to create something new and fresh. And after I created it, I put it online, I put it on Instagram and Facebook, and Miko saw the piece. And so Miko said, "Oh, this is great. I think you should do some NFT." And he connected me because of this is whale shark in the open sea. He connected me with Alex Atla, who's the CTO and co-founder of OpenSea. And the next thing you know, Alex saw the whale shark and he asked me, he said, "This is a great whale shark. Do you know whale shark?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Do I know whale shark?" I was like, "Are you talking about a specific whale shark in the Pacific Ocean?" He's like, "No, whale shark on Twitter." So that is the reason why I knew about Whale Shark Pro, which is our whale shark in the whale community. And so that was the reason why that I got connected with our whale shark in this particular whale community. And the next thing you know is I was working with Anissa. I was working with Justin since last year around Christmas. I also did a special job and I give it back to our community. And it was a special job that you can also see on OpenSea. I was giving away that special job as a gift, and I think one of the lucky Brazilian artists actually received it as a gift.
Yes, it's such a beautiful piece. I'm trying to locate it now.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing so that you could share your screen. So that was my initial sort of give back to the community, and it was so great that we connected really because of whales.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to find the piece.
No
Now that
worries.
you mention it.
I can find it for you. Yeah.
Can you? Please do.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah, it was really.
Worst host ever.
It was so much fun because it was the first time I was minting my piece on OpenSea, and also I decided to use a hardware wallet. And Anissa was so kind, and she walked me through for the entire process of how to use a wallet, how to mint, and to me it was a very educational experience because, as you know, I did previous job with Nifty Gateway. And I actually didn't need to do the minting process. The team kind of take care of everything. But I always wanted to learn how it is like for me to mint my piece myself, and also how it is like to have a wallet. And so it was really fun to do this particular piece, which I'm going to share my screen so that you can see it. It was a lot of fun to mint it myself and also just work with Anissa and Justin to make sure that I get it right. So this is the piece that I ended up creating and give away to the community. It's the invisible summer whale.
Oh, wow. I love this one so much.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
And it was owned by I think I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but it's Yatlet. It was really cool, and
Yeah,
as you
let's.
can see. Yeah. It was really fun because it was only one out of one edition that was created in December 2020 as a Christmas giveaway. But it was so funny. If you scroll down, you can see I created 5 months ago. I actually initially created on the Christmas day, but it took me 4 months
Oh,
to get my
wow.
hardware wallet.
A little bit of time. Yes,
That's
it's okay.
yes, yeah. So I finally transferred it to Yalet's wallet about a month ago.
Hmm.
So I thought that was something worth to share. And it was also around the same time when I was transferring it to Yalet's wallet. I got reconnected with Anissa. We actually always chat about things, but it was just really cool that I finally finalized the transferring, right? So it's just about a month ago when I was chatting with Anissa, and Anissa said, "Hey, we are planning for the 1 year anniversary of the whale community, and we just had this idea that we want to do a special job to allow the community to participate and also purchase the job and potentially support any nonprofit that you're working on, because I've been sort of working on with a lot of different nonprofit initiatives in the last 5 years, and Anissa knew about it, and she said, would you like to collaborate and work on something, especially maybe giving back to the real world?" And I thought that was such a great idea. And so this was a sort of initial discussion of the whale job that I will be chatting with everybody today about. And so we came up with this idea of doing a special whale job that's going to allow people to purchase, but also it is going to give back 50% to a nonprofit. In fact, we ended up choosing two nonprofit because it's just really hard to choose which one. So I ended up just choosing two nonprofit. And I will be very happy to show everybody the whole job. But in the meantime, I'm curious, Gian, if there's any questions in the channel that I can answer.
Oh, there is definitely going to be a few questions that you can answer. Let
Great.
me start at the beginning, of course. So we have had a few emoji competitions,
Oh
right,
my
on the
goodness.
whale server in the past. So some people that have tried their hand at that realized just when they tried how hard it is. So they want to know, what tricks do you use to make them legible, like a good emoji?
Oh, wow, that is such a good question. And I would love to do some emoji collaboration in the future, or even throw some emoji workshops with the community in the near future, because the World Emoji Day is coming up. It's the 17th of July. So I would love to, collaborate with people and see what they come up with. My number one tip is, if you're doing any emojis, I would definitely suggest that try to do it in Adobe Illustrator or any vector programs. There's also other programs that's available, but definitely try it through vector programs, because it's allow you to scale the illustration into any sizes you want, and you can also do it bigger, and then you can scale it down without losing the definition, right? If you do it in Photoshop or any bitmap programs, which is using pixels, it's very hard to control the quality, because you're working with pixels. You're literally painting with dots, right? So that's not necessarily the easiest way to do. Whereas vector illustration programs like Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW, if you prefer different options, I personally have been always using Adobe Illustrator, but I also think that there's also freer versions on the market like Sketch and CorelDRAW. You can use them too. I think that if you can start it to do it in these vector illustration programs, when you start it, it will probably be a little bit tricky because you have to get used to the interface. But once you kind of get a hand of it, and you can watch some of the YouTube tutorials to learn how to just make simple shapes and started to do things that with very simple colors and shapes. The most important thing is remember that emoji is a very small icon. Usually it is 32 by 32 pixels or 16 by 16 pixels, depends on your phone, right? So it would work really well if you just use like block of colors instead of adding too much details, because it will be pretty much invisible when you are making too many details. So less is more. Yeah, and I think that it takes practice, and I would love to see what the community coming up with. I think that it will be a fantastic thing to do in the future. Maybe we can have everyone design their own dumplings from their countries.
Yeah, everyone has a dumpling.
If you have a conversation with me, it's always ended up with food, or we can talk about the nature, but usually it's ended up with food.
But on the whale community, it always ends up being about food. So before they get the opportunity to ask it, I'm just gonna skip it. And so since we touched on the subject, truly the most important question that I have to ask you:
Yeah,
pineapple on pizza or not?
I am okay with pineapple pizza.
Now we can't be friends anymore.
Why
Oh,
not?
no.
Why not? Why not? Maybe I can convince you. Maybe I can convince you, Gian.
What? You want to convince me of
Yeah.
this sacrilege? Oh no.
Oh my god. Well, here's the thing, Gian. I don't know where did you try your pineapple pizza. It really depends on where you try it, right? Like if you try it like several shops and you didn't like it, it doesn't mean that other shops who uses pineapple is no good. For me, I just so happened had a pretty great experience. Of my very first experience with pineapple pizza was pretty incredible, and I also had some bad experiences with other pineapple pizzas. But I think it's always fun to try something new. And for me, I'm just open like to the idea of sometimes putting a little bit sort of non-traditional ingredients. But I'm curious, why don't you like pineapple pizza?
So this okay. For context, Brazilians try everything on pizza.
Right.
Everything on pizza. We really, really, really do. There's a few of them that I like. For example, chocolate with strawberries. That one is really, really good. There is something about something citric on pizza that doesn't sit right with me. Mm-hmm. But I do love citric stuff in general.
Yep.
But I don't know. For me, the dough doesn't go with the pizza. I don't know why.
Right.
The dough doesn't go well with pineapple. Like the citric doesn't fit. But there is plenty of fruits that I do accept on pizza, such as banana. With chocolate as well, something like that. I like it.
I have to say that, like, if one day we will be able to meet in person, I am going to definitely take you to one of my best pizza places in town, but that's in Sydney. I found this really great pizza place in Sydney that does all kinds of different pizzas. And then again, there's so many different ways of cooking pizza. You have the deep plate, and then you have the thin crust. Personally, I think that I always thought that I like thin crust until because I didn't had some really great experience with the deeper one, right? Until I came to the US, and one day I also tried the one from Chicago, and it really changed my perspective about, even it's the same name, but different people cook it differently. It's like dumplings, right? So you might, again, it's like dumplings. You might you might be familiar with, let's say, gyoza, like the fried dumplings, right?
Yes,
You might be
yes.
familiar with it. And then maybe like the first three times you tried in the shop, it wasn't that great. And you just thought, man, that's not my favorite dish. And until you try the fourth time, maybe with a different restaurant, and it just so happened it does it so well, and it changed your perspective. But most people, they just give up. For three times, they're like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that dish because I never had good ones. Same thing with laksa. For a very long time, I thought that I didn't like laksa because I just never had very good experience with laksa for the longest time. And I didn't like the, just the broth. And I just thought that I didn't like that dish until I think I came over to San Francisco about 6 years ago. And I tried laksa because my friend suggested me to try it again in a different restaurant. And it was so amazingly different, even though it's the same ingredient. But the way they cook it, it was really special, even it was the same ingredient. And that was the time I realized that you could, not liking certain ingredient, but it really depends on who is cooking it. So I just want to invite you to maybe try it again. Maybe in the future, if we meet in person, I'll take you to that restaurant I recommended and see if that might be change your idea.
So okay, so I read a thing last year saying that your taste buds, they change, I think, every 7 or 8 years. Um, and I thought to myself, okay, so why don't I retry the stuff that I didn't like since I was a kid? Because
Wow.
when you don't like something, you
Mm-hmm.
stop eating, right?
Yeah.
So it really relates to what you were saying. Maybe you can try a different cooker, and
Mm.
yes, that can work. Of course, that can work. But apparently, there is also some scientific evidence that as you age, your taste does change as well. So I did try a bunch of stuff, and I am not against trying some pineapple on pizza if you do have the opportunity in Sydney. Apparently, very good cooker there.
Oh my God. You are invited. You're invited to come to Sydney to try some of the best pizza I have had. But then again, I haven't been to Italy because, pizza was originated from Italy. So maybe we should meet up in Italy and try the authentic Italian pizza. The reason why I think the one that I had in Sydney was so good because Sydney actually, or Australia in general, has a huge immigrant sort of population from all parts of the world. And there was a lot of Italian people moved to Australia, during the wars or after the wars. So this is the reason why you might have some of the best coffee experiences outside of Italy in Australia. When I moved to Australia, I had some of the best coffee experience.
I imagine. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like here in the region that I live in Brazil, we also have had a lot of Italian immigration. Myself, I have like Italian grandparents, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and our coffee is from like the espresso is from Italian tradition, right?
Yes. Yes.
And when in the US, I found out that they don't know that they're drinking awful coffee. They don't know how bad their coffee is.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming, Gian. Thank
It's
you
so true.
for
No,
confirming.
it's so true. It's so true. It's nowhere near. If you have the opportunity, you need Italian tradition espresso. Like it's completely different. It's gonna blow their minds because Americans, that coffee that you guys drink,
Yeah.
it's so sad. It's so sad.
I, I concur. And thank you for letting me know this because I knew this before I I mean, I knew this after I was here in the States, because before I came to the States, I was living in Australia. So, I kind of took the Australian coffee for granted. Because no, seriously, you go to any of the street cafe, and you just
Yes.
had the coffee. Like, all the coffee shops are very consistent. The quality of like cafe latte or cappuccino, or
Yes.
macchiato, they're always so consistent, and they usually use the espresso machine, right? So it's really good. And so I just thought that this is like a standard thing. You go anywhere in the Western society, you will be able to get a good cup of coffee. And so when I came to the US, and the thing is, when I was living in Australia, one of my favorite drink is the iced coffee. And I'm not sure how you guys
I
do iced
love
coffee.
that so much.
Gian, how is the iced coffee look like in Brazil?
I mean, so here's the thing, right? You were saying about the. I mean, at least from what I know, the Italian tradition is fairly standardized. In the sense that, like, you have a specific amount of grams, you have a specific amount of time that the weather is going to go through, a specific temperature, everything. So that makes sense, right? And I believe that the iced coffee is the same case. So that's probably I don't know. I really like iced coffee, and I don't know if you ever had affogato.
I love affogato.
I love affogato. It's my
I love
favorite.
affogato. Okay, now we're best friend. It's okay if you don't like the pineapple pizza. It's okay, Gian. We can still be friends because you like affogato and I
I
like
love
affogato.
affogato
I
so
love
much.
affogato.
It's so much.
It's the best. So
Everyone needs to try it. Like,
yeah, that's true. Everybody should try affogato. So Gian, I'm curious, how does it like? Is the iced coffee in Brazil just ice with coffee, or it's coffee with other things?
so the way that I remember it, it's been quite a few years since I last tried one. We would usually do like a cappuccino iced coffee. Uh, but I don't know how it was done. You got me now. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, when we're done with this conversation, you should go to the local store and order a iced coffee to support the business. But the one that I had in Australia, whether you're going to Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane, or even different parts of Australia or Perth, I think the iced coffee, the standard iced coffee that we have in Australia, is actually more like a iced sundae, or kind of like a combination of affogato and something else. So usually iced coffee, if you order iced coffee in Australia, it has coffee, it has milk, it has a ice cream or two, and then it has fresh cream, and it has chocolate sauce, and it has a
Yes.
little they have chocolate powder on top of the chocolate sauce, and they
Cocoa,
put
yeah.
a little, coffee bean on the top as a garnish. And sometimes they put cinnamon, or sometimes they put extra, things to make it
Yes.
like
Yes.
just. And so this was my first impression of iced coffee. So obviously that's what I thought when I order iced coffee it's supposed to look like. So when I came to the US,
But they don't do it like that, no, because here it's similar
Yeah.
to what you described. It's similar to that.
right. So in the US, it's just ice and coffee. There's no ice cream, there's no cream, there's no chocolate sauce, there is no chocolate powder. It was just ice and straight coffee. And so
That is very disappointing.
I know it's very disappointing. So I think maybe the pineapple pizza you had is equivalent to the US iced coffee. You just haven't tried.
Okay, okay, yeah, it could be. So one of the things that I really, really want to do, yeah, as soon as COVID goes away, I
Yeah.
really want to go eat some Asian food because I love Asian food, but I don't have the confidence that I'm consuming it in the way
Oh.
that it's supposed to be consumed. So let me talk a little bit about sushi in Brazil,
Oh.
and you tell me if it makes sense to you. Okay.
I want to know. I really want to know this.
So the most popular one is, oh my god, we're sidetracking so hard. Most popular one is salmon. It's okay.
Salmon. Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
salmon,
Yep.
and cream cheese.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of cream
Oh
cheese.
wow. Okay. I think the crypto lord is like, what are they doing right now? They're just talking about food, and I love it. Cream cheese, eh? That is amazing because, well, in traditional sushi in Japan, they don't put cream cheese. Like putting cream cheese in in sushi is kind of equivalent to putting pineapple in pizza to Italian
It
people,
makes, yeah,
right?
yeah, right, of course. But there is one that is probably worst. I have one that is probably worst, and I think I can send you guys a picture
Uh
on
huh.
so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Because yesterday I went and ordered sushi, right?
Yeah.
And I also, because we talk about dumplings so much, that I wanted to get a gyoza, right? I have no confidence that the gyoza that I got is similar to what you guys have. I mean, you're not Japanese, but still, you have
Yeah.
traveled a lot, right?
Yeah, and actually I did learn Japanese, and my dad is actually a Japanese translator, and growing up reading a lot of Japanese manga. So and the thing is also, I was born and raised in Shanghai, so in my city we have international cuisine, so you will be able to find authentic Japanese restaurant that owned by Japanese people. And yeah, so and we also have really good Brazilian barbecue. Just let you
Oh,
know.
you had that. You had that. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
had
no.
that back in like the early '90s. They opened up like lots of Brazilian, business people came to Shanghai, and they opened up these Brazilian barbecue. That was the first time actually I tried barbecue pineapple and barbecue bananas. That was an experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. We love those. We love those.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
and,
it's so different. It's just like, what? You can barbecue bananas? That's
barbecued
bananas.
everything. Yes.
That's nuts. Like who barbecue bananas? But I loved it. I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I'm so glad that you tried them.
Yeah.
Because that is standard. The churrascarias, right, as you call them.
How do you pronounce it? I need to know how to say it properly.
Churrascarias.
Oh yeah, churrascarias.
That's close. That's close enough. You're good at this. I
Almost
mean,
there. Almost
yeah,
there.
churrascarias.
Churrascarias.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need some work.
It's understandable. That's the most important thing, right? But before we go more into the churrascarias, I do need to show this sushi right here.
All right. I'm
It's
so
a
excited.
monstrosity, but yeah. So
It's
strawberry,
monstrosity. Oh wow.
cream cheese, and guava
Wow.
paste.
Oh my god. No way. Strawberry
Yes,
cream cheese and what? What's the black thing?
guava paste. You know that?
Guava paste?
Yes.
I mean, I know guava, but guava paste with cream cheese and strawberry. Holy
Yes.
cow.
Don't
Wow.
ask me why, but
I I was just about to, but I'm gonna stop there. Whoa. This is mind blowing. Cause I really I would never imagine in a million years you would have strawberry cream cheese and guava paste sushi. Wow.
yes.
Well, Gian, if you think pizza with pineapple is bad, I'm not judging. I'm just stating my feeling right now.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Okay,
I
I have
don't
to
like
try
how
to.
this tastes.
Look, here's the thing. Sometimes, if it's really new, we will resist to just by the hearing it. But maybe I'll try it just to see if I actually like it or not. Because I have to say, one time when I was traveling to San Francisco before I moved here, I was staying at an Airbnb with hosts. So my Airbnb hosts was the one that introduced to me to eat apple with cheese. like I've never had apple with cheese. I thought it was a bad idea. But then because that was my host and she's offering me this, and I was like, well, might as well try, and it was amazing. Like,
Oh wow!
yeah, I never had apple with cheese before. It just sounded
That's
like
not very good as
not a good
well.
idea.
Doesn't make
And
much sense.
no, it's apple with some dairy product. Why would you do that? And I
Right?
had it. Yeah, I had it. And then she also asked me to try apple with peanut butter. And I was like, that doesn't sound good, but I'm going to give it a go because apple with cheese was not bad. And it was actually not bad. It was just, it was interesting. It was actually, I kind of like it. So I will try it. I will give it a try just to see.
Yeah, give this a try. We also have chocolate with banana sushi.
No, that's too much. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it's not too bad because we do have chocolate, banana, or sometimes we have mango. So in Thailand, that's also like, they have dessert, right? So in Thailand, one of the most famous dessert is mango with sticky rice and ice cream, and it was amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing, Gian. You're gonna try it. So it's called,
No,
yeah.
I want to try everything if I get to be in the places that have rich food because COVID's never going away. It's awful here in Brazil. I will.
I know.
If this situation resolves itself, I'm gonna eat everything. I will not be picky at all.
You
I
can
will
still
not be picky
you
at
can
all.
still eat everything, Jan. You should still just do takeouts, but we will
But we
meet in
don't
person
have those
someday.
here. We don't have those here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I know. You have to travel. You actually have to travel in certain places to try. But I haven't been to Brazil yet. I think the closest I have sort of traveled
this is what
in
you're losing.
yeah, I travel. I think I haven't been to most of the South American countries yet. The closest I went was the Central America. So I went to Mexico City a few years ago, and it was amazing. It was amazing to eat the food there, the authentic, like ceviche with very fresh fish and vegetable. And the thing that I was surprised about is the amount of Korean restaurant in Mexico City.
Oh, is that so? Do they have plenty there? Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, there was a lot of Korean immigrants moving to Mexico, and they established a lot of Korean restaurants. And I think it was interesting how even in San Francisco Bay Area, we actually have a lot of sort of would you call this sort of East meet West kind of combo, like the Filipino food, for example. They have sisig, which is actually diced meat, usually pork or chicken, and it's like a you can do it in burrito or taco style, but it's Spanish influenced, right? Because Philippines used to be, I think, colonized by Spanish folks, and so they adapted a lot of Spanish culture, and but they also integrated with the Filipino tradition. So they would have Asian style tacos, and it tastes amazing. So if you ever come to San Francisco Bay Area, I definitely would love to take you try that. I think it's really kind of an interesting
We're
food.
gonna have a food trip.
Yes.
Food trip.
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, we can go get some dumplings and we can go see whales.
These dumplings. I love the gyoza that we have here. I hope it's similar. I mean, I hope it's not as good because I want to taste something even better. But that was a very long detour, and it breaks my heart. But I wish we had infinite time to talk about food. I know, okay, I already know if we're going to have a food related dedicated stream on whale, I already found my co-host here.
Yes. Yes, I will. I will be your co-host on food any day for sure. That is important.
Real food. Gonna
y- y-
cook.
yes. Oh my goodness, this is happening, Gian. We are going to be dedicated to the conversation on food. That would be amazing.
Yes, that's perfect. I love it. So
Excellent.
excited.
Excellent.
But Ying, I'm so sorry, but I do have something that I need to attend. So we have 5 minutes. Can we get some closing thoughts on the drop?
Oh my god.
Because we talked so much about food, but we're
Yeah.
gonna have second edition. Don't worry, we have plenty of time to talk. The real community is not going away. And
Yeah.
they
No
love
worries.
having you here. So I mean, if I were not to invite you, they would kick me out. So
Okay. I would gladly accept that offer. And yes, I know we have 5 minutes. I will be very happy to just talk a little bit about the collection. And I think that many of you probably already know the collection from the announcement during the anniversary party. So I will just quickly go through the collection itself, and I would love to also see what the community has to say. If there's any question, please post it in the channel. So this is the full collection of the 1 year anniversary of the whale community, and I did it as a celebration of the whale community, the love of art, NFT, and also the nature. And in the same time, it is also the 18th of May, which happened to be Whale Shark's birthday as well. So the reason
yes,
why, yes, so the reason why that I created this job was initially invited by Anissa, and she said we really want to create something to celebrate the whale community. So I also decided that the 50% of the initial sales will go to the ocean conservation charities of Mission Blue and also Acti Global, which are two amazing nonprofits dedicate to their time to and energy to protect the ocean, the real world open sea. So all the jobs will be listed or is already listed in OpenSea, and the auction piece. There's only one auction piece, which is 1 out of 2 edition. So I only created 2 very unique editions, and they are identical, and the only difference is their edition number. So the one that you're bidding is 1 out of 2 edition, and the winning bidder will own this 1 out of 2 edition with Whale Shark, who owns 2 out of the 2 edition. Initially, the 2 out of 2 was a birthday gift that I wanted to give to Whale Shark, and he doesn't know about it until the announcement. So we have been keeping this entire collection quiet. I didn't mention anything to him, even though we just had a phone call about 5 days before the event. I didn't tell him anything about it. It was so hard to keep it as a secret.
top secret. Yeah.
Yes, top secret. Thank you, Gian. So if you're bidding on this and if you're winning, Whale Shark is kindly offered to match 100% of the winning bid, which was such a surprise to me and also to the entire team, because as soon as he saw that, he said, I'm going to match the winning bid. That was very generous of him to do so. So I'm incredibly grateful for his generosity. So you can go to yiyinglu.com/golden. It will redirect you to the OpenSea link, because the OpenSea link is pretty long, so I kind of make it into a shortened URL. So it's yiyinglu.com/golden, and you'll be able to see the 1 out of 2 edition of the bidding piece. Right now, it's already the winning bid is 2 ETH. So hopefully we will see the increased number so that we can donate more to the ocean as well. And for those of you in bidding on this, and if you ended up is not the winner, don't worry, because we also have this very special piece, and there's only 5 pieces in the world, which is the private sale called the Neon whale shark. So the top bidder of the golden whale shark will have the access to the private sale of the neon whale shark. So even though if you didn't win the piece in the end, you will still be able to own this particular piece, which is the neon whale shark. I personally also really love this one as well. And there's also more affordable tiers, which is these limited edition 88 pieces of the DJ DJ whale. This one is the DJ beluga whale, which is the same as the Twitter beluga whale, where people always ask me, so where is the Twitter whale these days? So I just made this one to show everybody now the Twitter whale become a DJ, and it is the DJ in the house to celebrate the whale anniversary with the, with the music and disco ball and everything. So you can also visit yiyinglu.com/DJ, and you can see the OpenSea link of the DJ whales. There's only 88 pieces available, and they are 0.1 ETH each. And in the same time, I also wanted to introduce this limited edition, also 88 pieces, Maraca whale. And it's also the same price as the DJ whale, which is 0.1 ETH each. And it's also really, really sweet to draw this one. It just came to life because I was envisioning a whale playing maracas, wearing a hat. And there's the Maraca whale. And the last one that was also, which is the most affordable tier, is the open edition of the red packet dolphin. And initially we just wanted to do it as an open offer. And I personally have to mint every single pieces myself because I was using, the OpenSea for the first time. And Justin was working with me around the clock for solid 72 hours. And so this was actually a celebration of the no-touch game, which I believe was a game that Gian and Justin sort of came together. That was my favorite. Gian, you could give if you have time, if you can give a little bit introduction of that would be awesome.
No, yeah, that was just no touch was such a natural thing. It just came to fruition one day. We wanted to see the level of coordination and cooperation that the community could achieve together, and highly reward them for it. Yep. So it just makes sense. It just made sense, and everyone had a lot of fun with it, and we're not tired of it. So we're definitely going to have future editions of the game because I would never be tired of it. Also, there was a person who managed to get 64 whale, and that was it's insane that people manage to hold their instinct of clicking for it to grow that large. That was just amazing, and lots of spontaneous things that came from it. So I'm proud of that. Me and Justin, we just it really, I don't know. It popped out of nowhere, and it was a lot of fun.
It's amazing. It really is amazing, and I really loved your explanation on this. I also talked to Justin about it, and he showed me this article written by Puffin, who's one of the artists also in the channel. And that was really a very well written article. And I also did the dolphin because I always wanted to draw a dolphin. It's really fun just to draw it. But it was really great that Justin said, why don't you put the red packet in its hand, and so I put the red packet in its hand. I'm also not so sure if you both are familiar with the traditional sort of why red packet is such a symbolic tradition in Asia. It's actually originated in Asia, and in our customs, every single Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year, usually the elderlies would give red packet to the young children, and this was a very auspicious thing to do. And I kind of growing up with it, but I never really kind of researched into why particularly it's a red packet. And in the past, they used to have real coins, like a golden coins in the red packet. And usually it's 8 coins. And so these are the traditions that I grew up with, but I never really kind of look into why there was certain sort of tradition in certain way until I was working on this project. So I in fact find an article that specifically sort of explain the reason of the color and also the reason of the content in the wrap packet. And it was really fun to just like create this job with also a huge learning of my own culture. And I would love to share that on the channel in the future. So this one, going back to the job, this one is basically it's 5 whales each, which currently is around $60 US dollar. And again, all the sales, 50% will go to the ocean conservation. And for the community give back, these are not for sale, but my personal give backs to the community of the whale community, and also the community organizers and moderators, like amazing people like Anissa, Justin, and Gian, and our crypto lord. This is a give back for the no pack game long-term red packet players on the whale Discord. So I think Justin has a name list of the people. I think they're around 30 people ish. So those people will receive these specially designed and not for sale limited edition reward for their long-term red packet non-collector, in fact non-collector, because they never touch the red packet. And as soon as Justin give me the name list and their wallet, I will be able to transfer them to your wallet. So stay tuned if you're a long-term red packet player, and you probably will receive one of them in the very near future.
Oh my God, yeah, that's such an awesome reward. But yeah, Ying, I'm really, really sorry. I really have to go. This was absolutely amazing. Everyone loves having you here. I love having you here.
Thank you.
But I mean, I will keep posting the links, and please find that article because I'm really, really curious. I want to learn more about this story. And yeah, I'm definitely going to find some contacts to bring you back to bring you back live. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jan. And
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
glad
much.
to be here. Take
And
care.
thank you, the community. Thank you
Oh,
guys for being here and taking the time. Bye bye, everyone.
bye
Get
bye,
some rest.
everyone. Thank you for having us. Take care. Bye bye.